Hello, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I have a broody hen. So we're going to do a little video series on watching this mama bird go through the whole process. And the broodiness thing isn't something that I look for or breed for. I prefer to do all the hatching myself so I can have everything on a schedule. But when one does go broody, I do give her the benefit of the doubt to find out if she's a good mother or not. If they are not a good mother, we eat the bird, because what's the point of that? And if they are a good broody, historically, I have sent them to a flock to go be useful there because I didn't want it. But now I'm thinking maybe I do want to cultivate that broodiness and devote a pen to it. So I'm going to give her a different set of eggs than what she has. I'll set her up in her own space. And we'll see how she does with it. And I can tell that she went broody because her verbiage changed. The way that she talks is a lot more huffy puffy. Whenever I touch her or get anywhere near her, she really fluffs up. And that's a different behavior than a hen who's just trying to be in the nest box to lay an egg. I was kind of thinking about leaving her here to see what sort of dad the male is, but with our wire the way it is, chicks can't escape and get into another pen where they may not receive a warm welcome, and I don't want to risk that. So we won't worry about his father skills, since he did come out of rooster coop and he was a leader there, so I know he has leadership ability, and the way he takes care of his girls is really good too. So let's make a plan here. So I'm thinking that I'll use these Chanticleer and American Bresse hybrid eggs to give to the broody. I'll pick out the cleanest 14. Since she is a pretty big girl, that means she can cover a dozen plus the extra 2. And once she's been sitting on them for a week, I'll candle and pull out any that didn't by chance developed. Part of this is scientific in that, will any of these offspring, supposing she's successful, turn into broodies themselves because they were raised by a broody? Which I've noticed a higher instance of broodiness if they were raised by a broody. But I can't prove it, and this one batch won't prove it. But it'll start me down a path of additional learning for things that I wasn't really thinking about prior in all the times that I managed broody hens. The egg size, the shape, and the color on these is pretty good. This one's a bit short and round, but it has the width that lets the chick turn inside, so I'm not too worried about the shortness on some of these. That's a good shape right there. That has length, width, good shell texture too, since I've had all the adults on the Kraut Creek layer formula. It's just a 17% protein, but not having fillers in that feed, plus having all of their nutrients in there, it jumped up my hatch rate a couple of percentage points, and it really improved a lot about the eggs themselves too, so that's pretty cool. I have more research and data collection to do on that front. But the next step from here is to figure out where I'm going to put her and get her set back up with this new batch of eggs, and then see if she sticks through the stress of that transition, because sometimes when you interrupt them, they'll quit, and that just means they weren't that broody, they were only a little bit broody. So let's see where we're gonna put her. So right now in this pen, I only have these 4 girls. I recently sent their boyfriend to a new farm to go do his job over there. And these, I'm going to sort and select my way through. And the keepers, they're going to go with a new male. And the duds, like the one in the corner that doesn't have much chest going on, those are going to be on our processing list. But by doing that, it's going to free up this pen and I can re-outfit it for the broody hen. It's a 5x7-ish pen. And what's neat about my pens is they're all connected to a sliding door opener that is mechanical with a crank. Everything is cabled, and whenever I need a pen shut permanently, I just unhook it, and then that pulls it off the line. So that's a cool barn feature that my husband put in when he was feeling like an engineer. Because he wears a lot of different hats. And a lot of that helps me out when he has ideas I never even would have thought of. 2 sides of the barn on the same cable system. Pretty neat. So I didn't know I was going to be doing this today, so their door is open, and if I try to catch them, they're going to run outside. So I'll probably move them out this evening after they've gone to bed and the doors are shut. Muck it out, clean it out, and then outfit it for little Miss Broody-Britches. I want you to see the difference between the response of a hen who just needs to lay an egg and the response of the broody, who's very dedicated to the nest box. Now this female is just here to lay. Are you gonna be upset? No, not really. I'm not gonna interrupt you, I'm just checking. She's just here to do a job. She's not guarding, she's not being psycho over it. Now let's go see how the broody responds. As soon as I opened the gate, the broody started clucking. What do you think? See this huffy puffiness? Oh, this is broody. This is, I am not getting off this nest. She doesn't perceive me as a threat, because if she did, it would be a very different chicken. So that lets me know the trust level she has with me. But she is also not going to come off this nest willingly. But this huffy puffiness, it's a big difference from a hen that just wants to lay and someone who's dedicated to sitting on this nest for 21 days. Some of the most valuable brooders are the ones who do everything right the first time and they continue like clockwork after that. And some of the best boys are the ones who stand by their side and keep an eye while keeping the peace and the rest of the flock. I don't want to split up the family, but for management's sake and protection of the chicks, I should. Granted, there's the other theory of let them figure it out and you'll come out with stronger birds for it. I try to find the balance between OCD over management and letting them figure it out. And it's a tricky little balancing act to achieve, I will say that. And what matters, what doesn't matter, how it works for your flock goals, and all of those little details. And then considering the bird itself, and then considering your purpose for them. There's so many variables and so many things to pay attention to. And that's how I ended up with a barn full of the same breed, split up into different pens for all the different variables. So be careful on your chicken journey. Find what your flock goals are, and then cultivate your flock to that. Learn, always and ongoing, because that'll never stop. Once you think you know everything, you're already wrong, because you won't and you don't. Ask me how I know that, because every experience varies. It's subjective, it depends, and you just have to figure out what works the best for you and your flock based off of the whole point of even doing this. So I'm gonna have fun with this broody because it's been 2 years since I've seen a broody. She hatched last year. She came from a line cross between my stock going back into a male that was from Brian Bailey up in Mechanicsburg, Ohio. So he may have some broodiness in his flock. And I'm seeing some residual effects from that. She is 75% our genetics and 25% from the other farm. I didn't keep very many, but the ones I did keep, there was a reason. Alright, back to work to get these guys set up and figuring out how I'm going to accommodate her to figure out what sort of mother she's going to be and if I'm going to retain her for a new little broody pen, because the value of the broodies to me is actually raising turkey chicks. But that's a problem for next year, because turkey brooding is completely different than chicken brooding. And if I could have a little fleet of chickens to do the turkeys for me, I see the value in that. So we'll see. This will be another fun little side project on top of everything else I have going on. Because basically now I feel like I live for chicken. In all of their forms, in all of their uses, this flock of American Bresse is still giving me everything you could ever hope for a chicken. So we'll see what she can do for the broody side of things. So more on this later. Feel free to like and subscribe as we get through this season of science. And she added a little side note to it. So we're going to roll with it, see what happens.